Okay, today we're going to look at a fluid leak issue on your turbine-based spray gun. You may notice a little dripping from the front of the nozzle here, or maybe even down by the needle packing nut. We've got quick and easy solutions to those problems. Stick around. So I just use a three-tiered method to go through my guns and see if I can identify where that leak is coming from. Usually it'll leak one of two places, right up around the air cap by the fluid nozzle, or sometimes you'll get a little annoying leak down by the packing nut assembly just in front of the trigger. Either way, it's pretty easy to troubleshoot that and solve the problem. First thing I want you to do is just double check the cleaning of your gun. Pull out your needle and remove the nozzle, and if you can clean the inside of the fluid nozzle to make sure there's no residual finish built up in there, and then really clean the tip of the needle well. Do those and retest it before moving on to the next step. The second thing we'll check is the needle packing nut adjustment. Now this is a very sensitive adjustment. We'll go over the process step by step, but basically it can solve both issues of leaking at the fluid nozzle as well as leaking at the packing nut area. If all else fails, you want to pick up a little T-Series rebuild kit for your Fuji gun, and that just includes all the parts you need to do a basic rebuild. So it includes seals and springs and replacement parts that you might need. And the final thing we're going to show is replacement of the air cap, the needle, and the fluid nozzle. These procedures will work for the siphon feed T70 model Fuji gun, as well as the gravity feed T75G spray gun. This is the one I use the most, and it's the one that's developed a little occasional leak at the tip, and so we'll go ahead and work on this gun to demonstrate. One of the best accessories you can get for your turbine is a remote. Turn it on from anywhere in the shop, and you can spray water, in this case, into a little cardboard box or other means to contain it. It's a nice way to go. So this is the sort of issue I'm seeing. We've got water in the gun right now, and we're seeing a slow occasional drip right from the fluid nozzle and the air cap area. It just drips down, and it leaves a little bit of mess on my gun holder here. It hasn't actually caused me any problems when I'm spraying, but boy, if you did get an errant drip into your finish, that could be annoying. So if you want to see a full demonstration on gun cleaning, look for my 2-minute, 2-ounce gun cleaning video. Then you can just go ahead and release the nozzle with the wrench that comes with the Fuji gun. This is a 1.0 millimeter needle and nozzle set that I happen to be using. And this is the part we're going to want to pay particular attention to. It's the fluid nozzle. If you get a little bit of finish buildup inside that, it won't form a good seal where the needle closes into the interior aspect of that. Once your needle and nozzle have had a chance to soak in the thinner, take a cleaning brush. Fuji makes a nice little cleaning kit with various size brushes, and you'll find the right size that just nicely cleans the aperture but doesn't scratch up the metal. And so for this 1.0 millimeter nozzle set, we'll start with the smallest brush. Make sure there's no finish built up inside. So we'll get that nice and clean. Another soak in the thinner, and we'll give the needle a little scrub with a soft brush. Same thing there, just making sure that it's clean. We'll go ahead and re-lubricate the needle and reassemble this gun. So what I notice about this gun is that when it's totally depressurized and you move it into this position, that's the only position I can get it to start leaking just a little bit at the tip. Now that we know the internals of the gun are good and clean, we'll move on to the second step, which is adjusting the needle packing nut. So you'll use a very small wrench to adjust the needle packing nut. There is an 8 millimeter cutout on your factory wrench. Otherwise, I like just a dedicated 8 millimeter wrench. And if you don't have a problem with this and you start making an adjustment, very quickly you will. Make 1 to 2 degree adjustments on this packing nut and then retest your gun. If it's too tight, you'll get a leak at the nozzle area. If it's not tight enough, you'll get a leak at the needle packing nut. So we'll go to our trouble area again where we're depressurized and detached from the air hose and move into different positions. And that looks like we've sorted that now with the deep cleaning of the needle and the nozzle and the packing nut subtle adjustment. Looks like even with water, plain water, the thinnest finish you could have, no drips or leaks in that scenario. So that gun would be considered fixed. We'll go ahead and show you the next step if this doesn't help in your situation. So if the previous steps haven't helped to solve the leak issue yet, you'll need to order a T-Series rebuild kit or the equivalent for your gun, and we'll show you how to install that now. Included in the T-Series rebuild kit is the fluid adjustment knob and spring, the air divider and air divider seal. There's another spring included for an internal valve in the gun. We're not going to replace that today because we're just hunting down a fluid leak. Air diffuser seal, air cap trim ring, and if you need to, you can replace the packing nut itself. The air divider goes on first with the hole in the 12 o'clock position, followed by the air divider seal, and that'll just snap into place. Next up is the air diffuser with air diffuser seal. Just install that over the lip on the back of the part and insert that into the gun. The little pin needs to be in the 12 o'clock position. Once that registers in, you shouldn't be able to turn that part in the gun. Okay. You can either reuse the nozzle, or in this case, we're going to be replacing the nozzle with a new 1.0 millimeter nozzle. And make sure the nozzle is good and snug. While we're at it, we'll go ahead and replace the air cap set and the needle with a matching 1.0 millimeter set. We'll put a dab of spray gun lubrication on the needle before reinserting it. Pull the trigger back and reinsert the needle. The thinner diameter spring is for the needle, and just add the fluid adjustment knob. Again, my preferred setting is to screw it in all the way and then back it off 5 half turns, 3, 4, 5, and that's usually a good place to start. You'll get a good sense for how well you've adjusted the needle packing nut as you reinsert the needle. Now, there needs to be some resistance as you reinsert that needle to get a good seal. So if there's no resistance, you'll need to tighten up the needle packing nut. If there's too much resistance, you'll actually have to back it off to be able to insert the needle back into the gun. Okay, so after the gun rebuild, we're looking for leaks. We'll uncouple the air hose and move the gun into different positions. I can't get it to leak no matter what I do. So our problem was solved a little earlier on before the full gun rebuild, but if you have to take yours that additional step, it's not too bad. You'll just have to order the parts. Okay guys, there you go. Just a couple tips to get you going on your way if you've got a little fluid leak issue on your turbine-based spray gun. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.